Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with the Higher Vibrational Podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to sherrylord.com for more info. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you have your cup of coffee or tea or whatever you drink in the morning. I'm your influencer host, Sherry Lord. Make sure to place an ad with us. Products, services, or events. And you can go to www.sherrylord.com for more info. And we have a very special guest, and we just love her. And she's all about angels. We have a very special guest, and it's Rabbi Raphael. Hi, it's so good to have you on our show.
I'm delighted to be here.
We're happy to have you, and you have so much to share with us about angels, and everyone wants to hear what you have to say. And you have an author too. You do books.
I do. So the angels have been with me since I was a very young child. I had a friend who passed away tragically at 10 years old, and I started talking to her on the other side and asked her to be one of my angels. And since then, I have just known they have been with me. It didn't really take off as sort of a professional thing until I was in rabbinical school, and I did a paper on angels. And then it was almost, there's a piece of the liturgy in the Hebrew prayer service that talks about the angels talking to each other and singing back and forth. And I did a paper on this. And then suddenly I got a call. Would I be interviewed on a television show around Christmas with the rabbi, a priest, and a minister? And I talked about the angels and the Jewish tradition of angels. And then somebody saw me on that show and they said, would you come talk to our synagogue about the angels? So suddenly,
wow.
Then from the synagogue, somebody said, will you talk at the public library? And that was about 30 years ago. And I've been talking about angels ever since.
Oh my God.
Songs about the angels. I've been writing books about the angels, and they walk with me. So they're with me.
They're amazing. You use them in everything you do. I remember every time we had a conversation, you're always speaking to your angels, and they're always surrounding you. I always see them surrounding you.
Yeah.
And how can people work with their angels? I mean, can you give them some suggestions of what you do or what they can do?
Well, the first thing is that you have to just accept and believe that they're there. Like you just, that's the basic. And once you do that and you start to ask them for things, they're here to help us. So they help sometimes in emergencies. I've asked, for example, to take over my calendar. Would you please take over my calendar? I want it to flow easy. I don't want to be late for anything. I want everything to just stack up at the right time. And guess what? It's made my life a lot easier. I've asked them to intervene in certain situations. Now, they don't always work right away. For example, let's say I'm looking to manifest something or I need somebody to move into my house. I kind of have to ask them and give them some lead time. It doesn't always happen because they're trying to align it and set up the exact right thing for you. So the more specific thing that you want, the longer time you have to give them. But I've sent angels to people, and they've helped a lot of people get out of the middle of what they're doing, get out of the mess that they're in.
Yeah.
So I know it works. You have to believe so.
Amazing. Yeah. And I like how you're specific. You have something specific. You give them a role, to do. Say, I need some help with this. So I think it's important that people be specific of what they need and just look up and then let it come. That is really cool.
Well, the Jewish tradition. So as a rabbi, I've looked at what does the Jewish tradition say about the angels. And Jewish tradition is that each angel has a specific mission. And we get this from the biblical story where there are 3 angels that go visit Abraham, and they tell Abraham something, that he's going to have a child. So one thing is they bring announcements, but then only 2 of them go on to help Lot at Sodom and Gomorrah. So everybody says, what is the Sodom and Gomorrah, why only two? So because those next two angels do two different things there. So from
Okay.
that, we learn that each angel has its own own tradition. We also believe that each blade of grass has its own angel, or each tree has an angel, so that everything has one purpose. So if you need one, you have to ask them individually for certain things.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what would I ask them for moving? Which one do I call upon?
Well, what do you need? Do you need them to find the place, to help pack the boxes? What do you have?
I have the location, but the house, the connection for the rental.
The connect. So be specific. And again, if it's really specific, you have to give them time to find it, and ask your angels to come intervene. That the they sometimes show up in human form. Like you'll meet the angel that will you'll meet the human that will intersect to do whatever it is that you need them to do.
That's huge. What about, a lot of people talk about to prevent car accidents? Some people are driving and they're, we're always on the road, and a lot of people, they bless the car. Is there a certain angel that can help them with that?
The tradition is that we each have guardian angels that sit on our shoulders or right behind us. And so one of them is always encouraging you to do the right thing.
Right.
The other one is kind of like, oh, I'm going to get you. The story is, the Jewish tradition says that on Friday night we welcome the angels, and that if the house is a mess and the kids are all running around and the place is not set for the Sabbath, the one gives you a blessing and says, may it be like this next week. But if everything's set up and the candles are lit and this and that, it's all in place, then the good angel says, may it be like this. So you always get the blessing. But what is it that you're doing that you want to be blessed for? So we have our guardian angels. Again, we have stories all the time of people that are saved miraculously.
Exactly.
It just happens all the time. So again, it's part of, what do we need to live for? What is our purpose in life? They're here to help us, and people can escape all kind of dangerous situations, just to be intercepted by the angels.
Yeah. I have seen that. I've seen that not only in my own life, but other people's lives. And it's just amazing if you know they're there or not, they're there.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is so cool. And you also talk about biblical angels, which you kind of touched upon a little bit earlier. And a lot of people know like Archangel Michael, Raphael, and there's so many more than that. Because you always talk about, I don't know, did you say thousands of, there's lots of angels.
Oh, we have the angels, and then there's a hierarchy of angels.
Okay.
There are the angels, that sing in heaven, okay, before the throne of glory. I talked to you about the angels that whisper to each blade of grass, grow, grow. We have the angel who escorts us into the world. We don't want to come here. Earth school is hard. And so our angels escort us. They say there is one that is in the tummy, in the womb, with a light to keep the soul comforted and to come into the world. So, and we also have the angel of death who helps escort us. And when the angel comes, when we're born, they put a finger under our nose for that little indentation, and we forget all our lifetimes before us. That's what our tradition teaches. We have the main place where we learn about angels is in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel has an amazing vision of fiery angels, the seraphim, the chayot, the angels with the lion's head and the ox head, and the eagle head. Those are the chayot, the animal angels. We have the spinning angels, the ophanim, the wheelie angels that have eyes on the wheels that are sort of roaming around. We have the cherubs, the cheruvim, that were on at the temple, the two cherubs that were almost kissing, where the divine presence glows between them. So in the tabernacle in the temple of old. And then we have all these amazing stories about the angels in the Bible who intervene. For example, the story of Hagar. Abraham banishes her to the desert, and she thinks her son is going to die. And suddenly an angel says, Hagar, look up, there's water over there. So we have the story of Hagar. She's the first one to have this encounter, although the tradition says that Angel Gabriel stands at the gates of Garden of Eden with a flaming sword to keep Adam and Eve so they can't go back in once they're thrown out of the garden. So we do have that angel as well. We have the angel of where Isaac is bound on the altar, and Abraham's about to sacrificing, and the angel calls out, Abraham, Abraham, and Abraham wakes up out of his stupor and sees the ram in the bushes instead of his son. So there's that angel that intervenes as well. There is the angel that got, when we're going out of Egypt, God says, I will send an angel before you to guide you. And so that angel also leads the way. There is the famous ladder of Jacob, where he lays down and he sees the angels. He has a dream. He sees the angels going up and coming down, or are they coming down and going up? And there's a lot of interpretations of that dream, but one of the most traditional ones is that he is asleep on the border between one country and the next, or between one state, or some border. And so that we have this tradition that the angels change stations at the different border lines. Like a city will have an angel, a country will have an angel. Between the two states, there's different angels, so that they each, again, goes back to this concept that each angel has its own mission. So he lies down on the border and sees these angels going up and down. He's right on the border. The archangels don't come in until later. The book of Daniel and what they call the apocryphal, which is really after the biblical canon was set. And that's when we begin to learn about Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael, and who they command. And then Metatron is the chief angel above them. In the Middle Ages and later is when we begin to learn about the hierarchy of angels. So we know about the archangel Michael, who is the captain of the angelic army. His name means who is like God. Traditionally, he's on the right side, carrying the sword of truth and bringing happiness, patience, and protection. He'll help you beat the bullies, so to speak. There's Gabriel, from the word Gabir or Gever. His name means strength. His power and energy is on the left side, helping us with boundaries. He blows the shofar, the ram's horn. He can put up a shield for you. Uriel, from the word or, which means the light of God. And Uriel, when you think about it, the light, you want to follow the light lights your path. He's in front of us. And Raphael, the angel of healing. He's behind us when we're sick or tired, and can be the healer that gives us the oomph to stand up to heal.
Oh, that was very interesting. And you travel a lot, so you use them all the time in your life.
I do. I mean, I take an angel on a journey. There is a specific Jewish traveler's prayer that we ask for protection on the journey. And then my ritual in my family, before we ever went on a trip when I was growing up, we would sit down. My father would make us sit down. You have to sit down before you go. And we never knew why. I said, why? He says, it's from the old country. We don't know why. So when I learned about the angels, I realized that you sit down, that we sit down and we set an intention. Are we ready to go? First of all. And the first answer, if I've forgotten this or that or this or that, it immediately comes to me. And then I set an intention to go and send that angel before me to make sure there's food and water and safety and the path is cleared and I'm ready to go. And I like do a visualization of going forward and then returning safely.
Mm-hmm.
So those angels I know are with me on the journey. And there's a particular traveler's prayer that we say.
Wow, that is really good information for all the people who are watching us. They are just going to just love you because they're looking for how to, and tips of how can I use them in my life? How do I use them in my life? We know they're there, but I don't know which one. They're like, who do I call upon? How do I do this? So I think your own experiences. What else can you share with us about your experiences with them?
Oh, well, I'll tell you a story. I was on a trip and one of the people that we were traveling with was stuck at the airport. I think I was in Sweden and she was in America. And she was panicking. How am I going to get there? And I said, stop and calm down. I'm sending you an angel. You're going to find an angel. Sure enough, a woman walks out of the line and says, can I help you? And helped her navigate whatever she needed to do to change her tickets or something like that. And it was like someone just showed up out of the blue. I also look for there's lots of angels walking around here. For example, my recording studio, I found it and I went to it. It's called Angel Studio. The people who end up working for me or like I work with, they're Gabriella, they're Daniela, they're look for the angels. Of course they're here. When I'm traveling, I get to a hotel and I'm stuck and I can't check into my room. And then I look at the nameplate on the person and his name is Daniel. And I'm like, can you help me? And then he helps me. They're all over the place. So I do know that they're here. You have to pay attention to the signs. You have to. I'll tell you a funny story. I was going to travel with my husband, and the week before we were going to leave, he noticed his green card had expired and he wasn't going to be able to go. I said, you're going to have to ask your angels to really help you for this because if you can't just walk in and get a green card. Sure enough, he goes to one place, they wouldn't let him in. He goes to another place and he sees the guy's name is Gabriel. And he says to the guy, can you help me with this? And sure enough, that guy cut him through the red tape. He had a temporary stamp to get his green card. I mean, I can't make this stuff up, but the angels really, they do show up to help. They do.
They are such a blessing to have in our life and to work with them daily, but also, you know what, Rabbi Raphael, you also affiliate lifestyle ceremonies. You do ceremonies, you offer oracle readings, you do spiritual counseling. You also are the founder of Daily Prayer, and you are amazing. You're an award-winning singer-songwriter, and you have a lot of recordings. You're an author of children's books, and it's just amazing how you can keep up with everything. And you travel to other countries. You do from service from your heart, your work. And what is the Daily Prayer? What is that? You're the founder of that.
So 3 years ago, in December, my mother passed. And the Jewish tradition is that you sit Shiva for 7 days to you stay here close on earth, you sit, and while the soul rises. So you separate from the soul, which is hard for people if you love them. And then you say a special prayer for a year. And it was during COVID. Nobody wanted to sit with me because I had been in her hospital room and nobody wanted to be around me. So I went virtual. and people showed up to be with me so that I could say this prayer. It's called the Kaddish, which is the same root word as Kodesh, which is the holiness. And it's about affirming God and life. And so people joined me, and it was so rewarding and so nourishing that I tended the flame and I kept it going for a year. It's been 3 years, and it's every night at 9 p.m. We pray for each other. We say, those who need to say the Kaddish prayer, because it's an 11-month grief journey, come on to journey with us and say that prayer. It's become a community. It's, half Hebrew, half English. We take anybody who's interested and willing. We sing a lot. We're praying for Israel right now. We're sending our angels to the soul.
Yeah.
We're sending our angels to make peace. We sing of peace. We bring a lot of love and light. It's really a refuge in the world. It's about an hour of refuge from the news and everything that's going on. The traditional Jewish prayer that's said at nighttime, okay, it's called Shema Mitah. It's the bedtime Jewish prayer. And before we go to sleep, which this minyan means a prayer quorum, settles us down. And we sometimes invoke the angels during that time to settle us down before we go to sleep. And I can sing you that song if you want, that is about the angels.
Yeah, we would love to.
B'Shem Hashem Elohei Yisrael, Miyemini Michael, Umismoli Gabriel, Milfanai Uriel, Miachora Raphael, Vial Roshi Shekhinah El. In the name of God, the God of Israel, there's Michael and Gabriel, Uriel and Raphael. The angels come a-dancing and sing around your bed, and then Shekhinah herself appears to kiss your sleepy head. So Shekhinah is the feminine divine presence, and she is in charge of some of the angels. So she sends them on her bidding help sing us to sleep and put us to sleep. So that's how I got to the book of writing this kids book.
We're gonna bring that up because she's got a beauty, so colorful. You can see the background behind her. She's just so beautiful. And from the heart all the way. We're gonna bring her book up. There you go. Isn't it beautiful? I love the colors of that book. You can't miss it. It's gorgeous.
So this book I wrote when my kids were little. They're now adults. And I worked with two women who one did the outlines of all the images and one colored it in. And they did an amazing job. And we went through the biblical stories and the background of the traditions and pulled together this little book called Angels for Dreamtime. And it is it's a sweet little thing. And if the parents read it, they'll fall asleep too. So I'm just saying, don't read it while you're driving. Read it before bedtime.
But how can people find your book? Is it like on your website? Is it on Amazon? How can people find your book? How can they get this book?
It's on my website, but that'll take you to the link to buy it on Amazon.
Okay.
My website, just for the record, is www.shekhinah.com. Shekhinah is the feminine divine presence. SHECHINAH.com. There it is, coming up on that website.
Yeah.
And
yep, this is awesome.
Yes, and it's on Amazon, Angels for Dreamtime. It's both hard copy and digital. You can get a copy of it. Yeah.
That is amazing. And what's the name of the book again? So people can remember?
Angels for Dreamtime.
Yep, that is beautiful. We're going to bring up something else that you have to explain to us what this is.
So One of my next projects that I've been working on for many, many years is called the Shekhinah Oracle. It's an oracle.
Ooh.
This is one of the cards from that deck. This is the Angel of the Nighttime, the card of dreams. There's Jacob's Ladder that I was talking about before. And this deck, I did this artwork of paper cutting. There are 54 cards in the deck. There will be a guidebook that goes with it. I'm still working on the guidebook itself, but the cards are almost ready to be sent to get a sample deck. So this is in production. Should be out maybe by the holidays, but I have said that before and things it hasn't quite made it. But it's a labor of love. And this is the card of dreams. Chalom is the Hebrew letters in the bottom, the card of dreams and seeking answers and guidance in the dreams. The angel there is called the Ba'alat Hachalamot, the angels of dreams, the master of dreams. So if you want to invite the angel of dreams to help you dream and remember your dreams, you ask him right before bed.
Oh, that's a beautiful tip. We have one more book, and this one is from your husband.
That's true. He has a new book. He is the expert on Jewish views of the afterlife. He's got a big book out of that, but he's also doing this new one called Musings with the Angels of Death. It's a poetry retrospective of his life, but I wanted to put that screen up there of that angel of death. You know, we're usually afraid of the angel of death, but she escorts us, hopefully more gently than dramatically, out of this world.
Yeah, I think it just needs to be understood more than anything. And you guys are amazing. And you're going to be traveling very soon, too. So you go all over, but you do service when you go. You're always doing so much. Is there anything else you'd like to share about what you do? And how can people get a hold of you again? Is there like your website? Is there a Facebook page or?
So one of the things I do, I am a consultant for the Olive Jewish Renewal Organization, and I curate programs, Zoom gala programs, where I have maybe 15 or 20 presenters around a theme. I do a New Year's program. I do tribute programs. There's music, there's art, there's culture. So I do those programs periodically, in addition to all the weddings and things that I do in person in the Philly area. But those national programs are available. The best thing is just get on my website, and I can put you on whichever email list that you've received the announcements of all the things I'm doing. So that's Shekhinah.com or Rayzel at Shekhinah.com, RRAYZEL at Shekhinah.com, SHECHINAH.
Well, we just love having you. You've been such a wonderful gift and all the wonderful tips about how to work for angels. And I know everyone who's watching are going to get a lot from this, and I'm sure they're going to contact you as well. And your book will probably be sold out. This is huge. Kids' books are so big right now in all these other places. We want to let people know to please go to www.sherrylord.com/podcast for more information on Rabbi Raphael and on our upcoming guest. And if you want to place an ad for your product, for your services, or for an event, reach out to us. We have information on our website. And thank everybody for watching us. May you be blessed on your journey. Thank you so much.
Do they know what a light you are? I'm just reflecting that light right back to you.
I think there's a lot of light here. We're emanating the world together with the angels.
That's it. Thank you so much.